brought a handout, not fancy, not in plastic bags. Don't open the handout until I'm done lecture. Kind of a surprise for you. Again, my name is Carl. I'm a retired military cop, small arms instructor. One point in my career, I spent 2 years as a combat medic. I don't know it all, but I wore a badge and carried a gun for 33 years. Thank you, sir. In service to our country. The first time you think, oh, you're welcome. The first time you think you know it all, that's when you get hurt. Or wind up in jail. Or worse. Learning is a lifetime evolution. Every day above ground is a great day, but every day I don't learn something, kind of a waste of my time. I want you all to break out your cell phones. I'm going to give you a website I want you to go to. If you got signal, great. dps.texas, texas.gov, G-O-V. dps.texas.gov, G-O-V. How many of you people have your license to carry? Excellent. How many of you carry under a constitutional authority that Governor Abbott signed 2 years ago? Great, but not so great. If you get to that website, scroll down and click on handgun licensing. And then on the next page, you're going to click licensing and registration. I want you to look at that page. On the right column, about halfway down, there's a link that says forms. Open that up.
Slow down.
Yep. Handgun licensing, licensing and registration. Right column, halfway down, the link says forms. I believe it's still there. They move things around on the website. They don't tell us. After I retired out of the military in 2011, I went to DPS and became an instructor for the state. I do LTC, I do basic learn to shoot, I do a lot of the advanced stuff, which is right up you guys' alley. I think that's why John brought me out here. He's been to a few of my classes. We have a lot of fun, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a blast. Fun with a purpose, though. On that link, the forms link, you can find the document that says LTC 16. Lima Tango Charlie 16. LTC 16. Everything I talk about is coming out of that document. That's a 147-page PDF format document, all the excerpts from the Texas Penal Code that govern our carry of a firearm and the application of deadly force. I love 2A. I'm a proponent of carrying in all places, all times. I don't wear this downtown San Antonio. This is going to get me attention I don't want. But there are some limits to the new constitutional carry law that Governor Abbott signed 2 years ago. Some pretty significant ones. You might want to reconsider your position if you're carrying under constitutional authority. To make constitutional carry work with Texas and eliminate the requirement to get the license, but they did not eliminate the license, big difference, they had to rewrite a certain significant portion of the TABC, Texas Alcohol Beverage Code. It's a felony, or it was a felony in Texas, to carry an unlicensed firearm, handgun, into any place that served or sold any form of alcohol. All of your convenience stores sell beer and wine. They don't have the alcohol license, they're not 51% business. But to make constitutional carry work in Texas and eliminate that hurdle for people that wanted to carry without a license, they had to rewrite that, so now it's no longer a felony when you walk into the corner store with that unlicensed gun in your pocket. That's the only way it was going to work. Constitutional carry will not allow you to carry on any school property. Period. Furthermore, constitutional carry will not back you up if you get popped within 1,000 foot of any school campus. That's a federal gun-free zone law. Is it routinely enforced in places like Bexar County? No. But what works in Bexar County doesn't work in Travis County, I promise you that. Here's the law. The law is subject to interpretation by your sitting district attorney. And he or she's going to interpret that law based on his or her political viewpoints. That's the way life works, folks. If you're carrying under constitutional authority, I hope you've at least read LTC 16 and have some working knowledge of the Texas Penal Code, because carrying this around without knowledge of the law, a good working knowledge of the Penal Code, in my book, you don't know what you're doing, and that's a good way to get in jail. A dang good way to get thrown in jail. So if you're a constitutional carrier, at least do yourself that favor. Download that LTC document. Read what the law says. Educate yourselves. You don't have to take the class to get your license to carry anymore, but there's no substitute for education. And if you're carrying under constitutional authority, you've not learned the law, you're setting yourself up for failure. I've read your t-shirts. Failing to prepare? Yeah, you're failing to prepare. You're not taking the time to learn the laws of the state of Texas because they eliminated the requirement for you to take the class. In my opinion, bad move. And it's happening. A lot of constitutional carriers are getting arrested on school property when they pick up little snookums from the band hall. Yep, can't do that as a constitutional carrier. Licensed carrier? Yep, you can do that. There's quite a few other perks we have to having the license. It's still a requirement to travel out of state with your weapon in your vehicle to a state that requires a license. Oklahoma does not, Missouri does not, New Mexico does. They still have a license requirement, as does Louisiana and a few of the other states close by within a reasonable drive of Texas. So keep that in mind. Consider that. Every round you're forced to fire in self-defense is a terrible liability for you. Don't incur any more legal liability than you have to. Don't incur any more legal liability than when you have to. There's already about 4 lawyers attached to each round you fire. That's guaranteed. Every single defensive shooting in the state of Texas goes to a grand jury. You're going to live under a grand jury's criminal investigation for a little while. You're going to provide some testimony to that grand jury as to your incidents. And they're going to look at everything, your abilities, your skill set, your training, all that. I've been interviewed by grand juries when I've had ex-students get involved with stuff. Not fun, but the legal system's there for a reason. The courts have to satisfy themselves that 1, you were justified, and 2, you follow the law. If you don't know the law, how can you follow it? Simple as that. In the state of Texas, your carry, whether constitutional license, either open like this or concealed. I came with a coat this morning because I thought it was going to rain. It was a little bit chilly. Perfect concealment garment. Weather's kind of iffy. Dress around your gun if you're going to carry that gun for the day. You're not brandishing your weapon in a threatening manner if you accidentally expose it. That got changed years and years and years ago. But you really want to be concealed in public. Keep the bad guys guessing whether you're armed up or not. Not make yourself a target for the bad guy when he does walk in the building, right? In the state of Texas, your deadly force is authorized. Well, let me back up. Your deadly force, in whatever form it takes, is authorized to prevent you or anyone else from suffering serious bodily injury or death. Serious bodily injury defined in Texas Penal Code as fractures, lacerations, blunt force trauma. How many of y'all know that you can carry aspertons? How many of y'all know that you can carry brass knuckles around with you now? We've been at that for a couple of years. Any impact weapon is deadly force. Not recognized readily as such like a gun or a knife would be. But if I take the brass knuckles and crock you across the temple or into the trach, you're not having a good day. I collapse your trachea and you suffocate. I killed you with a set of brass knuckles. I do the same with a cell phone into your trachea. And people, anything can be weaponized to hurt you. What's in their hands? How are they applying it? And can it hurt me? If the answer is yes, your deadly force is going to be authorized to prevent that serious bodily injury to you or anyone else. Yes?
How many people is it 3 or more who come against you to attack you?
We're going to talk about disparity of force in a moment. But right now we're just talking a one-on-one random encounter at the gas station. You're pumping gas at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're all by yourself. Somebody sees you as a soft target because you're watching the dang TV in the gas pump. Don't do that. Terrible distraction. Be vigilant. Be awake. Your vigilance will dissuade 90% of those who have thoughts to do ill towards you just by being vigilant. Paying attention. Who's around you? What's around you? What's going on? Live your life with a cell phone. I promise you, you're the one that gets mugged. Guaranteed. To prevent that serious bodily injury. But it has to be a means of last resort. All other means failed or could not be employed. That's the primary reason I don't carry pepper spray. Personally, I do not carry pepper spray you can buy from Wally World. It is ineffective against 1 out of 3 people right out of the box. It doesn't work. And he's got a diet very high in habaneros and spicy foods. A shot of pepper spray, don't even touch him. Or how about this? Someone's hopped up on methamphetamine and you spray them with pepper spray, they go, oh, see, give me more. That happens. That happens a lot. So for me, personally, pepper spray is not an option. But if you got pepper spray on your key ring, and your first reaction to a threat or your first response to a threat is to grab your gun and start letting it have it, you may have some questions in court you can't answer. Why did you bypass your less than lethal option that was on your keychain? That's a terrible question in court to have come up. It has to either fail, I sprayed him and he kept coming because he's hopped up on the drugs, or could not be employed. I can't employ it if I'm not carrying it. So for me, I eliminate that low-hanging fruit to fail in court. I don't carry it. If it's bad enough for this to come out, it's really bad. But you carry what you want. You want to carry pepper spray, you want to carry tasers, we got them. A lot of people that jog at night are buying the little phasers left and right. 30-foot range, 50,000 volts, and you detach and run away. While he's on the ground wiggling like a piece of bacon. They're out there. They're about $400, less than lethal option. Not good against multiple attackers. The point you brought out earlier. It would be considered a disparity of force when you're facing somebody 4 times your size, or 3 of them, or in case of the females, because I'm male, the law says I can overpower the female. You get to shoot even though I got no weapon. Simply because it's gender related. There's a disparity of force that you face against you because your attacker is male. Fine points in the penal code people don't know. Any question on what deadly force is? We've all read that definition. Any question on what serious bodily injury is? You're a nurse. You know about that golden hour trauma. Yep. Any question on the fact that anything can be weaponized to hurt you? Can I not take a large ignition key and slice your jugular wide open? Yes, I can. Is that serious bodily injury? Yes, it is. Are you going to shoot me before I do that? I hope so. Because the law says you're allowed to use your deadly force to prevent that. Nothing in the law says you have to wait and get hurt first and then respond. Part of my courses, we do the Antifa drills. I'll put you in vehicles, and I've got the fake crowbar, and I'm fixing to bust your window open because I'm riding. Are you going to let me shower you and your occupants of your vehicle with broken glass when I shatter that window? Or are you going to shoot me first?
Shoot you first.
Absolutely. Knowing when to get to this tool is half of the battle. Knowing how to effectively use it under stress is the other half of the battle. About 1% of your effort is actually pulling the trigger. Remember, once you produce the handgun, once you produce your deadly force deterrent, it is simply that. It's a psychological deterrent until I pull that trigger. Now it's deadly force because I pulled the trigger. So, work on training. Work on your skill set. Be prepared. Good Boy Scout model, right? That's what this group's all about. Be prepared. You never know when that ugly, evil monster raises his head at you. Living under that grand jury investigation is not fun. You're going to get subpoenaed, maybe. Make a video deposition with your attorney. You may provide live testimony. Either way, you're going to tell your side of the story. And it's going to get scrutinized. Court's got to make sure that, one, you were justified until you follow the law. There's no escaping that grand jury. But if you do things to mitigate your liabilities legally, on scene, it can make a big difference. How many of you are familiar with the Good Samaritan Act in the state of Texas? The Good Samaritan Act in the state of Texas. You're given significant legal protections under the Good Samaritan Act when you act in good faith to the level of your training to help somebody out. You have no legal obligation to do anything for anyone at any time. But because you're armed, whether legally from a license standpoint or from a legally constitutional carry standpoint, either authority gives you right to carry this firearm, and that gives you the legal authority to render aid and assist somebody when you see her getting dragged down the alley by 3 guys. I can stop that. I don't have to, but I can stop it. I think her family would appreciate that.
So would I.
Yeah, absolutely. Operating to the limit of your training. As a registered nurse on the side of the road without medical direction, she better not start an IV. Nope. As a gun carrier, and you're going to stand up and puff your chest out and create and solve all the world's problems, that ain't going to happen. Carrying a gun shouldn't try to make you a vigilante. It's difficult in court to justify self-defense when you're the one seen as the aggressor looking for the issues. Looking for the fight. You go find the fight, first question the court's going to say, why did you put yourself in that position? Why did you willingly invite that fight? From that point on, it's a tough road to prove self-defense. Or it could be a tough road to prove self-defense. Y'all remember the Zimmerman case in Florida? His 911 operator was a certified peace officer. That was into that phone. It made a big difference when he decided to ignore the direction of certified peace officer and continue following and chasing poor Trayvon. He put himself in that position willingly when he didn't need to. 911 said, we don't need you following him. Go, back off. He didn't back off. When push come to shove, the only thing they could prove in court was self-defense. But he had a hard fight. Y'all remember how long that was in court? Specifically for that reason. He chose to put himself in that position and force the issue, and that's the first thing the legal team on the other end went for. You didn't have to do that. You'd been told by cops not to do that, and you willingly ignored that. Don't be George Zimmerman. Don't go looking for the fight. Don't go provoking people. Don't puff your chest out. You're going to solve all the world's problems. That ain't going to happen. You had a question over here?
Is what about that case?
2 or 3 fight-saving shots, center mass, in a short second to a second and a half. That's the gold standard by which to go home on your feet. Anything less, you risk going home in a box. I can't put it any plainer than that. And folks, I don't sugarcoat anything. This ain't the time to sugarcoat stuff. Can you get to your tool, withdraw it from its concealed position, and deliver 3 or 4 center mass shots in that second to a second and a half? Most people, they're not trained enough. They can't do it. So here's a tip for training that you guys can take home with you from today and do it in your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen. Any surface you can see yourself in. Take the empty unloaded handgun. Don't go shoot up your wife's dresser drawer. She ain't going to be happy with that. But take that empty unloaded handgun and practice drawing it out against yourself in that mirror across your bedroom. You're seeing a man-sized target at a conversational distance. That's defensive shooting right there in a nutshell. You're developing a little muscle training, if you will, to get to that tool wherever you happen to carry it without taking your eyes off your threat to look for it. Good stuff. Slow, smooth, smooth is fast. Don't worry about speed. Let's get the gun out. Let's get your tool out in a timely manner. And in front of that mirror, just go pop, pop, pop. Vocalize it. I've got a laser trainer. I got a couple of them. Laser lights. They're good. I pull the trigger, I get a laser pulse. Lets me know exactly where I hit. I don't have to adjust anything. Don't have to set the cell phone up, nothing. And I play with that gun a lot at home. Wife comes home with the groceries. What are you doing? I'm training. I'll put that down. Come here. Yes, ma'am. Take advantage of things you can do in your own home to up your skill set to make you more prepared to meet that threat should it ever come your way. Your gun, make sure it's going to be reliable. Some guns don't like the way some hollow points are cut. They won't feed. You want to find out you got a feeding issue in a training environment, not when you need to go bang and it goes click. Jams up on you. So start doing some dry fire training in your home. Go to the range often, work on weak hand skills. I've got a private range on the piece of property I'm leasing, and we do all of it. We'll barricade fire, we'll fire from vehicles, we'll do a lot of tactical speed reloaded under stress. I'm 65 years old now, I don't kick in the doors anymore, but if you come to my advanced class, I promise I will stress you out. We will get you operating, fighting, which is what I turn to do. I'm teaching people how to fight now, not just how to carry. And it's stressful, and we have a lot of fun. John will tell you he's been to a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
We have a blast. So the final word on gun safety. This tool on your hip or in your pocket can make you safe as long as you're properly trained with it. If not, it doesn't do anything for you. Might as well be throwing a rock. And along that point of training to enhance your safety, I told you I was going to talk about gun safety, but not the traditional way. Work on the weak hand skills. Consider ammo considerations. Work on things like rapid reloads, multiple targets if you can. Most public ranges don't let you do it. Come out to me. We'll go play. We have a lot of fun. Comments, questions, smart-ass remarks?
Just one.
Yes.
If you're carrying a, let's say,
Because your deadly force has to be a means of last resort. Either failed or could not be employed. So I don't carry it, that way I can't employ it.
right, but if I have a knife, then
A knife is lethal force just like the gun is.
sorry, one moment, I got it now.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
There's not an escalation of lethal force.
Okay.
Lethal force is lethal force in
Sorry.
whatever form it takes. That's what I said, the way I said it when I first got up here.
Yes.
Lethal force in whatever form it takes. Just make sure it's a means of last resort. All other means failed or could not be employed. Life over property. And we're not going to get into the laws about property right now, but I will tell you this. Don't shoot somebody at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they're stealing your car. Deadly force is going to be applied during the hours of darkness. And otherwise recoverability. You got insurance on that car? Now you have otherwise recoverability. If deadly force is a means of last resort, but you have otherwise recoverability through an insurance policy, then do you have a means of last resort anymore? No.
What if you can?
And the ambulance chasing lawyer in court is going to rip that apart.
Yeah.
He's going to say you had an alternative means. You didn't have to shoot my client. I personally know a man in Stone Oak who shot a little kid in his truck at 4 o'clock in the morning. He was justified under theft during the nighttime. The hours of darkness well established, 4 a.m., but he had insurance on that vehicle. Other means, otherwise recoverability, he ended up losing everything he owned. Civil litigation. Took the shirt off his back, quite literally. And a lot of people don't know that's one of the small things in the Texas Penal Code. Deadly force during the hours of darkness, only if there's no otherwise recoverability. It's a terrible snare to get caught up in when you're shooting for property. And I said I wasn't going to talk too much about it, but here I was. Yes.